pinned.
Hello and welcome, everyone. We will get started in just a moment. We had over 700 people register today, so we will give it a moment for people to make their connections. But welcome if you're joining. We have a very exciting topic today. This is really one of our favorites. So we're glad so many of you could make it. All right. I am going to kick us off by once again welcoming everyone to today's webinar. We are going to be talking about a really fun topic today, active learning. And we'll cover why it's important, but also how to easily embed it in your Canvas courses with a clever, affordable tool from Cidi Labs known as DesignPLUS. I would like to note up front that this 30-minute webinar is designed to show you what's possible with this amazing tool. It is not intended to be a step-by-step training. And as always, we will include ways to learn more at the end of the webinar where you can get more step-by-step instructions and more detailed walkthrough. And we'll do that at the end of the webinar as well as in our follow-up email. So I'm Jennifer Malkovich, and I head up marketing and product management at Cidi Labs. And I'm joined by Julie Van Dorn, who is our amazing training and documentation manager. And I'd like to make two quick housekeeping notes at the outset here. First, we are definitely recording today's session, and we will share it out to everyone who registered over email sometime tomorrow. So you can refer back to it if you want, and also share it with all your colleagues. Second, you are welcome to use the chat throughout. I see that chat is already quite active. But we do ask that if you have a question to please submit it through the Q&A area in Zoom. So our fantastic colleagues from Cidi Labs that are here today can help keep track of them and answer them throughout. We will be answering questions throughout in the Q&A panel. All right, so in case you're not familiar with Cidi Labs, we have 6 different game-changing tools for Canvas to help elevate course design, simplify accessibility, and scale best practices. We were founded in 2016, over a decade ago, through a partnership with Utah State University, where Kenneth Larson, who we have the pleasure of having on the webinar helping us with Q&A today, he's our co-founder, and he was working at Utah State as an instructional designer and wanted to find a better way to help build those high quality and accessible Canvas courses. And that led him to create the first iteration of what would later become DesignPLUS. And in the 10 years since, we've continued the same model of developing these clever, affordable tools for Canvas by just listening to our customers' needs and pain points. Once again, our focus today is on that tool that Kenneth invented, DesignPLUS. It's come a long way in 10 years, and we're going to focus on how it can help you easily build that active learning into your Canvas courses. So let's start by talking for a minute about why active learning is so important. So when courses lack active learning, they often are content heavy and static. And so students may be simply reading or just watching things without opportunities for doing or practicing outside of the formal assignments or assessments that you may have in a course. And we know that scrolling doesn't really engage students, maybe unless it's on social media, right? But even if you embed text-based prompts for students to reflect on their learning, students are often skipping over those. And that just defeats the purpose. So as a result, instructors can't really be sure that students are absorbing or engaging with the course content in meaningful ways. For that matter, students aren't even aware whether or not they're learning until that is a high stakes or graded moment reveals their gaps in understanding after the fact. And so, what is the research saying about this? You know, at Cidi Labs, we love to reference the research. And here we have seen that active learning opportunities have been shown to boost a variety of important outcomes, from student engagement and achievement to their longer term metacognitive ability and sense of academic self-efficacy. And that's for all the brain science nerds out there. I am sure we have many of you. So promoting active learning is important, but research also shows that students often don't choose to practice active learning without some scaffolding or prompting. And that's where the no or low stakes self-assessment opportunities come in, right? Simple interactive knowledge checks help learners test their understanding, engaging them in active learning and active recall processes. So these types of activities can also be a vehicle for immediate feedback, right? And students get that while they're learning, not later during an assessment, instead of only doing it in that kind of graded format. And also, if the self-checks can generate response data, instructors can then learn from that and identify learning trends without having to do more grading. So while I'm sure you're now convinced that active learning is a great thing to build into your Canvas courses, you may be thinking, but I don't have the time or the resources or maybe even the technical skills to do that. It can be difficult, right? And that's where DesignPLUS from Cidi Labs comes in. So it was built to make it easy for every course designer, regardless of skills, to drop interactive exercises and much more into Canvas courses right where you're editing. And the DesignPLUS interactive exercises have been thoughtfully designed with accessibility built right in. So all learners can benefit from the active learning exercises. Even though these are no stakes learning opportunities for students, educators can use these to access anonymized insights to see how students are engaging and where they might be needing additional support. So now I'm going to hand it over to Julie to show you what active learning in Canvas can look like and how easy it is to build with DesignPLUS.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jennifer. So I am really excited to share this with you today because DesignPLUS absolutely changed my Canvas life as a teacher and support person. And these new interactive exercises are just mind-blowingly cool. So here we have a page inside a Canvas course that has been styled already pretty beautifully with DesignPLUS. And in addition to our exercises that get students to engage with concepts and check their understanding, we also have some interactivity that can be just built into the instructional part of the page as well. And not only does this break up a lot of content into a much more manageable way of consuming it, but it also gives the learner some autonomy as they explore the page, getting to choose the parts that they want to interact with. Now, at the bottom of this page, I have a few examples of one of our types of interactive activities, which is a quick check question. And right here, right inside the page, students can test their comprehension of the material, again, without that sort of high stakes environment. As Jennifer mentioned, these are just for the students' use. They are not going to be graded. So they kind of look like quizzes, but these are ungraded. We don't pass this data to the grade book, but we do collect aggregate data, not about the students themselves, but about which answers are being selected so you can get a better understanding of what's happening in your class. So as a learner, I can check this right here, right now, and get some immediate feedback. This feedback can also include images, maybe a little video feedback from you, or even links if you want to point them back to a certain resource where that information is found. Now, if I'm maybe getting something wrong, I can also get feedback on that as well. And really quickly, I have a quick understanding of what's working and what's not for me in this particular material. Now, I'm going to move on to another example, and we're going to look at examples from different subjects and disciplines. So imagine we're now in a different course, and we are looking at some Spanish flashcards. And I love this because not only can I check my understanding, but I can actually be called upon to type in the real answer. So I can type 1 here, and as Jennifer mentioned, these are all accessible by any type of format. So I can use my mouse to check, but I can also use my keyboard to hit enter, check my answer, and move to my next flashcard. Type another answer, enter, enter, and progress that way as well. So this can be such a nice way for your students to test what they're learning. And I see this as a really great opportunity for leverage. As Jennifer mentioned, like we can encourage students to do this on their own, to make their own flashcards, but we don't know if they're actually going to do this. But in this case, I, as an instructor, have created this exercise one time, and all of my students can benefit from it without them having to take that extra time to do the work of making those flashcards themselves and getting the cards and doing all the things. I'll move on to another page. And while we've seen that we can interact with these interactives from a teacher perspective, in this case, I'm going to engage my student view to show you another cool little feature of these interactives. So here I'm looking at a page with some information on butterflies. And again, our interactives are not only to check the learning, but we also have interactives to help the learning process. So here I'm seeing some different caterpillars for different types of butterflies. And I get to actually engage with these to see, what does this caterpillar turn into? Oh, this particular butterfly, that's really cool. I can switch back and forth. And again, I can use my keyboard to switch between these two as well. So giving the students that moment to interact with both the learning and the checking of their learning can really be helpful. Once I've looked at all my butterflies and I think I know my connections, I move down the page and find out that, ooh, I get a chance to test this out and really see what's working and what's not. So I might remember that, oh, this spiky one was connected to this stripy one, and this one was our monarch. But maybe I say this one actually belongs with this one. Oops, nope, right away I know that wasn't right. Now, at this point, maybe your student is like, okay, cool, I'm going to progress to the next page, move on down, and head on to the next thing in the module. Well, DesignPLUS offers a special feature on these interactives that you can engage if you'd like to, that actually hides the next button until your student has actively completed and all of the answers in this interactive correctly. You can even customize the little message that is given to your students. So in this case, I've said, hey, match the caterpillars with their final butterfly form in order to proceed, encouraging my users to go back up and take that time to double check and make sure that they've got everything right. And then once they do, they'll get that little feedback that they've done a great job, and that next button will be unlocked for them to proceed and move forward. Now, I will go ahead and leave my student view because I think you can see how hugely these types of interactive activities and content are going to benefit your students. But I certainly don't know how to build something like this and use code to make this happen. And I'm assuming I'm probably not totally alone in that. And hey, even if you did have the coding chops to do something like this, you would have to code it out every single time. And that would eat up a lot of your, day-to-day work time, right? So instead of having to do all that, now we can have DesignPLUS to do it all for us. So I'm going to leave my student view, and we are going to take a look at how easily an educator can create one of these interactive exercises all by themselves. Here I am again on a DesignPLUS styled page. We see some cool headings here. We even have some neat button links and icons, all of this created with DesignPLUS. We've got a little interactive popover here that gives us just a little bit of information for those students who may not remember what a stanza was if we covered it before, but does so without cluttering up the page for those students who are like, yeah, I know what a stanza is. I don't need to see that again. So that interactivity, really fun. And at the bottom here, we've got a space for our exercise. So I am going to edit my page now. And we are going to see our DesignPLUS sidebar. Now, this is so cool because you are maybe just an educator, designer working in your course, and as soon as you edit this page, you are going to have this beautiful sidebar slide out and handle all of the coding and crazy stuff for you with just clicks of your button. So I am going to scroll on down here. You can see we have lots of really neat tools, but today we're talking about that interactive content. So I'll hang out here. Now, our DesignPLUS sidebar is available pretty much anywhere that you are editing content in your Canvas course. You're going to find it not only on your pages, but also on your assignment descriptions, your discussion descriptions, your quiz descriptions, and coming soon, your new quiz descriptions as well. So it is going to be a wonderful way to work with this very, very easily. Now, also, in addition to being able to add these things, we will be able to preview how they function before we even save the page. So if you're worried about adding something to a page that students may already have access to, don't worry, you can add it and check it out before, and we'll see how that works. Okay, so let's see how quickly and easily I can do this. I'm going to scroll down, place my cursor where I want the activity to go, and I'm going to choose this fill in the blank interactive activity. And here I have some default placeholders that I could use, but in this case, I'm going to delete these out and I'm going to place my own, just copy pasting from off screen. I'm going to place my own text here in this fill in the blank. So we've encouraged our students to read this poem and kind of try to memorize that first stanza. So now I'm going to give them a little bit of a challenge to see if they can do that. What's so fun about this is now that I've got this whole text in here, I can create my fill in the blank sections by just highlighting a particular word and adding a blank where that word is. So I'll go through here and just select some words and make them blanks here for my students to interact with. And it doesn't take super long to do, right? Boom. Now I've got all of those blanks in there. And as I mentioned before, we do get to preview this before we save the page. And DesignPLUS has a really cool preview panel that's built in right inside this tool. So I can scroll down, find my preview panel, and go ahead and type in dreary right here and weak and maybe something wrong here, right? And then I can check this to see how it would function for my students once it's saved to the page. We can see I got those first two right. I got the one that I got incorrect, and any that I didn't fully complete. Now, another thing, already pretty cool, right? I would have killed for this when I was teaching. It's so neat. But we can take this another little level if maybe we're concerned that our students might not fully remember those words and typing them from scratch could be a challenge. Instead, we can scroll back up to our content panel and say, make our answers draggable. And just with one click of a button or keyboard accessible keyboard shortcut, we have now made this a drag and drop activity where our students can pull these different items into their spaces. And believe it or not, this drag and drop functionality is also fully accessible by screen reader, by keyboard controls, and even by single pointer controls. So everyone is going to have full access to these exercises. So cool. All right, so again, in my little preview, I could go ahead and check here and I can see that I got those two right and the ones that I didn't get right. And I'll exit full screen and save the page. And just that quickly, right? We have created a really awesome interactive exercise for our students with not that much time, right? It didn't take us that long to put that together. But I have another fun thing to show you for even if you're like, well, I mean, that was pretty easy, but what if it could be easier? We are going to take a look at another feature we have. So here's another page that is available that is a US geography region. So again, we're traveling through different types of courses here, and we already have a little bit of interactivity baked into this page with our accordions. So again, students get some autonomy in how they explore this page, and they're not overwhelmed by that big scroll. But let's add in an activity to give them a little moment to check their knowledge. Now, what if you would love to add these interactive exercises? And like I said, it maybe still feels like a lot of work to go put these throughout all of your classes. And you're just thinking through how much effort goes into thinking out these activities. And wouldn't it be nice to have somebody readily available to help you do this? Well, allow me to introduce our design assistant, which uses the power of AI to help you build these interactive exercises even faster. Now, I do want to put a little note that your institution may or may not enable these AI features. So, AI features, we make them so that they can be enabled or disabled at the level for the institution so that we can make sure that you all are in compliance with your AI policies. So, your institution may choose to enable these or disable these. But let's take a look at how this functions for those who do have it enabled. So I have my geographical regions, I have my accordion. At the bottom of this page, I'm going to add an interactive exercise to help them check. This time, I'm going to use the awesome search feature on the Add tab to look for that sort items interactive that I'm going to use. The search tool is like one of my favorite things ever. It makes everything so much faster. So I'll select sort items, and again, it quickly drops that into my rich content editor. And you can see here at the top, I have this design assistant. So I am going to ask our design assistant to help me sort all 50 US states into the following geographical regions that I am teaching my students about. So I'm giving this prompt to my design assistant. I'm going to have it sort into 5 separate categories, and then I'm going to choose 4 items per category. So 4 states per geographical region for our students to match them up. I'm in grade level 5. I could change that if I wanted to, but grade level 5 is fine for me today. So now I will hit generate. And instead of me having to go and copy paste every single one of those states or type them out or put them in, it's all going to be done for me. So I look at this Northeast. I've got my states in the Northeast. Of course, this is AI, so I'm going to use my human brain, my teacher brain, to check this really quick and be like, yes, these are my states. Cool. And I'll select, and I could modify these afterwards if I wanted to, but I'm going to include all of these different groups that it has made for me. It does also offer me some distractors if I might want to throw my students off course a little. I will just put in 2 of these. I don't want to mess with them too much. And then when I've got that configured and ready, I'll hit build activity, and oh my goodness, it's all there for me. I didn't have to copy paste. I didn't have to do almost anything. I just told the design assistant what I wanted and it created it. Now, I still do have some options here if I want to customize the style, for example, make this a little bit more friendly for my K-12 users. I could change the bucket color to green and maybe the item color to yellow, make this feel like a more fun activity, right? And then again, we have that preview panel at the bottom. So if we wanted to try out sorting these, we could. But I'll go ahead and save the page here. And voila, we have this really great interactive exercise that we can start working with. And we put California on the west. We can put Massachusetts in the northeast, etc. See what we got. And hey, really quick, we get that feedback, which you can customize. Again, we saw, but we didn't have to do all of the copy pasting and the work for that. Super, super fun. Now, lastly, I do want to show you that Jennifer mentioned that we have some anonymized data to help our educators understand which concepts are really landing well or maybe not landing so well for our learners. So I'm going to head into my Canvas course menu. We find this sidebar in a different place, and I'll go to my settings. And here I'm going to access my interactive data dashboard. And so this is going to aggregate data from all the activities that are in my course and let me review that data very quickly here. So we can see in this summary, I've got 9 interactives throughout my course. I've got 40 total attempts, only 4 students who have been doing a lot of work in this class. I've got an average score, not so great, probably need to work on that, and I can even see the average time. But what really makes this super powerful for you is the ability to dive down into specific activities and see what's happening with them. For example, if I look at my average score here over on the right, I can see that I've got a question that has an average score of 0. Yikes, that's not great. So let me select that question, and I can even quickly remind myself, which question is this? And see a preview of it, which is great because I don't know about you, but I don't remember everything all the time like that. So I like having that ability to check. And I can see that overall, not only is no one getting the correct answer, but everyone is selecting this specific incorrect answer, which makes me think maybe I've got a typo somewhere I should go fix, right? Let's go look at that material and see if maybe I'm feeding some inaccurate information there that I want to double check. Similarly, I have another one here that has a little bit better of a score, but still pretty low. And oh, no, I actually want to look at this one and a little bit of a score, and I'll select on that. And again, I can double check this and review with my brain. What did I ask in this question? What were the options? What are my students experiencing? And I can see in this case, it's actually pretty well split among the 3 different options, right? We've got some people getting the correct answer, a good chunk of people getting this incorrect answer, but also some people are selecting this one. So this seems to be an area of confusion that it isn't maybe a typo, but it's something that I really need to go back and clarify and make sure my students are understanding. On the upside of things, I can also see that I do have some questions in here that my students are getting 100% correctly. So that also lets me know what's really landing with them, what's been explained well, and what I probably don't need to spend more time emphasizing. So, as you can see, this anonymized data provides some really great insights for our educators, and those interactive exercises make learning a lot more fun for our learners. And that concludes our tour.
Thanks, Julie. That was an amazing showcase. And I personally loved seeing all of the reactions we were getting coming through. There was a lot of love for all these features. And so, since Julie showed just a sample of all the possible interactive elements that you can easily add to your Canvas courses with DesignPLUS, here's the full list of possibilities. And this isn't even counting the other types of interactive content made possible by the sidebar, like accordions and popovers and much more. And so, as promised, we wanted to give you ways to learn more. If you would like to see short videos showing each of these elements in action, you can scan that QR code. But if you prefer to really test or play with the interactive exercises and really see a whole bunch more examples of them, you can explore them in our DesignPLUS library interactive resources gallery. And we've dropped a QR code for that as well. And I believe the team has put the links in chat as well. Also, other ways to learn more about DesignPLUS, any aspect of it. If you don't currently license DesignPLUS, be sure to reach out to us at cidilabs.com to schedule a demo, and one of the other awesome members of our team can walk you through it one-on-one, or you can scan that QR code on the screen again If you are a customer, we always get so many of you joining these webinars. You can scan the code to the right of the screen, and you can set up a meeting with one of our customer success managers to talk specifically about how you might put these features to use at your institution and get more out of Design Plus. And I just want to wrap up with a great opportunity that Cidi Labs has partnered with the University of Texas at Arlington to do some research on active learning. And so we are collecting anonymized data about these interactive exercises and learner success. So please note that link in the chat. If you have any interest in participating in this research, again, it is completely anonymized data, and that will enable us to continue the research. So thank you, everyone, for such a fun webinar today. We loved seeing all your reactions and questions. I think we've answered almost all of them in the Q&A panel. They've been coming in fast and furious. So with that, we will wish you all a great rest of your day, and we will hope to see you on the next webinar. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thanks so much.